All right, let's chat about what's shaping up for the next 6 months of 2025. Think of this as a friendly heads up on the big global trends. While some things we might have expected are definitely still playing out, it turns out the world is pretty good at adapting slowly, rather than flipping entirely on its head. Here's the scoop. 1. Geopolitics is still the main character. First off, expect geopolitics to keep driving a lot of big changes, forcing organizations to rethink their business models and strategies. Transition to policymaking. After all those elections last year, we're now in the policymaking phase. The catch? A lot of these elections ended up with fragmented political leadership, meaning our weakened leaders might struggle to actually get their big plans done, or could easily be swayed. So, companies are really needing to plan for that uncertainty using scenario analysis. Economic competition and sovereignty. Governments are also getting super serious about economic security, melding national security with economic goals through industrial policies and trade protectionism. This creates a more tangled web of supplier relationships globally. Connector economies, like India and Mexico, are really stepping up their game to attract investments, with things like India's production-linked incentives and Mexico's nearshoring push. Even the GCC countries are seeing a boom in foreign investment as they diversify and boost advanced technology and clean energy industries. De-risking and dependencies. Everyone is still keen to bring supply chains closer to home. Think onshoring, nearshoring, friendshoring, especially for digital and technology products. Companies need to be super transparent about where their supplies actually come from, to understand underlying exposures to geopolitical rivals, and reassess global trade strategies. Digital sovereignty. Governments are likely to keep a tight grip on network infrastructure, sometimes even leading to internet shutdowns in tricky areas. On the flip side, there's a big push to boost local research and production in AI, semiconductors, and network tech. If you're into AI, definitely keep an eye on markets that are really investing in these areas. Geopolitical rivalries and conflicts. The global scene remains pretty volatile and uncertain due to ongoing rivalries. We're talking about persistent risks of new or bigger conflicts, from North Korea tensions to maritime disputes. Cyberspace is definitely a hotbed for conflict and spying. Oh, and military spending is actually on the rise, as the number of wars increases. America first is still a thing, which means the US is rethinking its support for international groups, making other countries think hard about their own defense. And sadly, conflicts like the one in Ukraine and Sudan are still messing with global supply chains, energy prices, and migration patterns. So companies really need solid backup plans, and to monitor sanctions, risk, and compliance. 2. Money matters and state influence. Economically, the world's big financial institutions, like the IMF, World Bank, and WTO, are surprisingly open to governments getting more involved in the economy, which is being called a mutating neoliberalism. This isn't a full paradigm shift, but rather an adaptation that aims to incorporate state-owned entities into the established governance and to discipline and control them within the existing system. Taxation conundrums. Governments are also really needing new ways to get money because of high debt. This could mean fewer subsidies for green products, which might make them a bit pricier. Banking systems and state capitalism. Traditional financial institutions are adapting to a world where states are bigger players, owning and promoting capital. There's also a buzz that rising military spending could actually fragment global payment systems, possibly by geopolitical blocs, which might open doors for more digitalization and blockchain. Cybersecurity, of course, remains a huge concern for anyone dealing with money. 3. Tech and industry. Keep shifting gears. Technology, especially AI and clean energy, will continue to redefine pretty much every industry. AI's expanding influence. Governments are still, incentivizing local development and production of AI algorithms and related network infrastructure. Businesses that can really use AI to boost efficiency and innovate are definitely going to be the ones to watch. Electric vehicles, EVs, and critical minerals. Electric vehicles, EVs, are on a roll, thanks to policies and market demand, with China still leading the pack in sales. But here's the kicker. The clean energy shift is creating a massive demand for energy transition minerals, like lithium and cobalt. The problem? Getting these minerals out of the ground is slow, they're not everywhere, and it can be environmentally risky. This is triggering resource nationalism and fierce competition. For who controls the supply? Western countries are actively trying to diversify their mineral sources to reduce reliance on certain places. Good news, renewable energy is growing way faster than non-renewables. Space economy. The space economy is still seeing lots of investment, opening up cool new commercial opportunities in everything from medicine to energy. Satellites are also going to become even more crucial for tracking things in transportation and logistics. But with more stuff going into space, there are new commercial opportunities and geopolitical risks. Big tech and military-industrial complex. Contrary to a prediction of military-industrial complex funding drying up, we're actually seeing a U.S. digital military-industrial complex emerge, suggesting big tech is getting even more intertwined with military interests. So it's more of an evolution of defense spending towards technology-focused stuff, rather than a complete overhaul. Part 4. Societal and environmental challenges are still here. Beyond what's happening within countries, things like environmental damage and population shifts are huge global dynamics. Climate and competition. Climate policies in the next 6 months will be a tricky mix of economics, geopolitics, and price. Inconsistent climate rules could mess with international business and long-term sustainability plans. And get this, the latest report emphasizes that climate change is a major driver of geopolitical instability itself. Environmental degradation. The Living Planet Index indicates a significant decline in monitored wildlife populations, averaging nearly 3/4 since 1970. Habitat loss, overexploitation, and climate change are big culprits. There's also a huge funding gap, with investments in nature-based solutions being less than 3% of nature-negative finance. This massive funding gap for nature stands in stark contrast to the rising global military expenditures, highlighting a critical disconnect in global priorities. We really need transparent ways to check if climate actions are actually working. Healthcare costs. While specific short-term data on costs isn't provided, the challenge of unsustainable healthcare costs persists. The focus is on adapting our public health systems to things like climate change impacts through adaptive management and anticipatory governance. Partnerships are key because local agencies often don't have enough resources. Measuring how well these programs actually work is tough, though, because of limited expertise and time. Five. Slow and steady wins the race. A really important takeaway from all this is that established systems are incredibly powerful and resilient. Change in most areas is likely to be more of an evolution than a revolution, with established structures demonstrating a powerful immune response to disruption. New technologies and ideas usually get slowly woven into what's already there, rather than completely replacing it. So, while we're definitely seeing trends moving in predicted directions, don't expect any sudden, massive shakeups in the immediate future. To sum it all up, the next 6 months of 2025 will be characterized by continued geopolitical shifts influencing trade, supply chains, and technology development, particularly around critical minerals and AI. Economic systems will gradually adapt to greater state intervention. Environmental and health challenges remain pressing, requiring adaptive and transparent governance. Across all sectors, change is likely to be a process of evolutionary adaptation rather than sudden revolution, underscoring the deep-seated inertia of global systems.